What time is it there with you, Ariel? Like 2 o'clock?
Are we live? I believe we're live. Okay. I shall check. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Vapers. A little bit late, a few technical issues once again. Never mind, we are here, and we have our special guest down there in the bottom corner. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Zippy.
Hello,
Andy, say hello.
Everyone.
And Ariel yourself, say hello, buddy.
He's got no sound.
Ariel.
Your sound's not on, bro. Yeah.
Oh, wait there. Wait there.
For some reason you're muted. I don't know what's going on here.
Can you hear us, Ariel?
New flashcards.
Wait there, I'll just...
I think it might have been because I was on the phone to him. Check if you've hung up the phone call, Ariel.
Okay, I don't know what's going on here.
No, bit of a disaster, but...
What's new?
Yeah, welcome to the League of Extraordinary Vapers.
Yeah. How are we going to get this working? Right.
I'm on it, I'm on it.
Let's have a look.
Where's he gone? Re-invite him.
Yeah, maybe do that. Maybe hang up and re-invite him or something.
Could do that, yeah. I could do that, that'd work.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Zippy, what is it with you and these flashcards, mate?
When I've got nothing good to say.
That's always.
Fine, okay. Let me get this link and share it about a bit while we're sorting out the technical issues here.
He's back. No, he's not.
No, he's hung up.
He's hung up.
Invite him again. Okay.
Sorry about this, folks. Bear with us.
Yeah, really sorry about this to anybody that's actually watching.
Yeah, I can't see at the minute.
Yeah, there is a few people in the chat as well.
Yeah, turn the volume down. Oh, Ariel's back. Can you hear us, Ariel?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing was turned off. Video was on. I don't know. You guys just couldn't hear me. It was weird.
Google Hangouts. Good to see you, buddy.
Man,
I thought it was all going to go terribly wrong then for a minute, but
no, I jumped off and jumped right back on, and it's working.
The good
so
old
what's going on, guys?
Working. Turn it off and start it again. It just, you know what I mean? It saves the day every time.
It's
System reboot has done.
Yeah. Okay, just getting the link and sharing it.
Yeah, you on that, Andy?
Yeah.
So what's everybody vaping on now?
Yeah, what we all vaping on? Ariel, we'll start with you, buddy. What you got? I'm expecting some Immortal products.
No, I just picked up some surf. They sent samples, so I was vaping it for the weekend. It's pretty decent. This is one of their newer flavors.
Well, yeah. And device-wise, Ariel, what you got?
Siege with a new cap.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get them custom caps. Been teasing us for ages.
You didn't get your order yet?
Tomorrow, yeah, I can't wait. It would have been Tuesday.
Normally it's only like a day or two.
Yeah, DHL, for some reason, they class my area as a +1 day. So, because I live so far west, it's the only parcel company that does. Everywhere else just treats me like
normal.
But DHL don't. It literally just sits there. It's been in Bristol since Friday. It could have been delivered on Friday, but they just always do it every time.
They sent Mike's package back.
Zippy, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
What, juice or?
It had some juice in it, and instead it had nicotine product in the box. They sent it back.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they don't like that. But yeah, I'm on the Siege as well. Apocalypse 25mm, the B1. Tip on there, of course, and on my patina hammer with the Elite V2.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a beauty. That is an absolute beauty. That
absolutely love it. And I'm on some of this. It's King's Custard. It's banana flavor, banana custard.
All right on.
Yeah, this is really, really good. You know, some custards that got quite a bit of throat hit to them. This is really smooth, and it's like banana, like like that artificial banana sweet flavor type sweets. It's like that, and on some of this toffee waffle as well.
I've never seen either one of them two.
No, they're new. Literally, they just came around. So I ordered a couple of bottles to try out. But yeah, I'm impressed with them. This is like a Belgian waffle rather than it's not like the American type waffle. It's the Belgian, like a street waffle, like that kind of thing. But it is a bit sweet, but it's nice.
Right on.
go on, Zippy, what you got?
Stormbreaker, red, customary tip. Grip.
There you go.
Custom tip. And I'm going with this tonight.
Oh, the bullet's out. Blimey O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Shamrock cookie. That one's good. Some North Shore mint condition. And the secret one.
Oh, we know what that is.
Yeah, man. So,
The secret one.
yes.
It's not bubblegum flavor, is it?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
It's not that one. I think if he's got some juices coming out, and
mean?
well,
Plug it, Zippy. Give it a plug.
poor mate.
Zip strips.
Yeah, zip
A
strip.
couple of weeks away from being launched now. So
Nice.
it's coming.
That's what's up.
Call me.
Yeah, looking forward to trying them actually.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
hang on. Whoa, this is a freebie hunt now.
it's the what?
Is this a freebie hunt?
I'll write you an IOU.
That's standard. I got.
Oh, your flashcards, man.
That's funny.
Right, I've got my Jab 4 with limited edition Black APOC and customary Half Moon Modz tip. Bit of a cable. I've got my Rig V2, all in white.
Nice.
Siege with limited edition Thai APOC, again with Half Moon tips. And I'm afraid I've got my smock on my Minikin. Juice-wise, I've got a Crimson Cloud on the go. A Remedial, a strawberry lozenge. It's really, really eucalyptusy and mentally. Some ABB in my Siege, which is a custard, and a lemon and lime Chemical Clown, the relaunch of Chemical Clown in the smock thing. And there we go.
Nice. Bringing out the big guns, Vinny. You got like more vapes on the go than I think most people own.
Some of them have not been used for a while. Like my rig, it's been sat away for a long while. I only bring it out when I know I'm not going to drop it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't drop it.
Yeah, I did that with my spade.
Unless it's dropped, it don't count.
Got enough chips in it already, so I don't want to put more in it.
Unless it's dropped, it don't count.
Right then, so what are we going to talk about tonight then?
Yeah,
Well,
what are
seeing
we
as
gonna-
we've got Ariel on, we're going to do a little bit of an FDA American special type thing, I think, and try and get Ariel's grasp on what's going on with the FDA from his side of things. Obviously, we only get what we get shared through social media and things. Oh, Ariel's eyes. I saw you look to the sky there, Ariel.
It's a hot mess over here, man. Yeah, I mean they're pushing for 21 as far as legal vaping and smoking age. Bunch of states, you know what I'm saying, all these taxes and whatnot. It's a cluster. I mean, no, to be honest, I mean I stayed up last night or the night before last, like 4 or 5 hours, you know what I'm saying, trying to read up, and it's like you can't really get any clarity for much of anything, to be honest with you. It's not looking good, but I still try to stay hopeful.
I mean, is there a way around it, like what we did in the UK with the short fills? I mean,
I think the long fills might be a saving grace, maybe. But nobody really knows. Like they keep like they get you all like bundled up, and you're like getting prepared for this date, and all of a sudden the date comes and goes, and then they're like, oh, there's an extension. So it's like nobody really knows exactly, you know what I'm saying, like where they stand, because they keep postponing stuff. So it's like,
so standard sort of divide, conquer, and confuse type effort.
Yep.
I mean, from what I've seen, first of all, the holds at San Francisco, where they've done the ban for 6 months.
They banned there, but they banned vaping, but they didn't ban cigarettes. So I don't understand if they're categorized together. Like if you ban one, why wouldn't they ban the other? So I mean, it's government throwing their weight around, essentially, is all it really boils down to.
So
Massachusetts now.
Massachusetts has been getting hammered on. Well, then I thought I read something where it got lifted, but I guess it didn't get lifted. So it's, you know what I mean? There's so many articles, and they're all so like jumbled all together. It's so hard to try to make sense out of anything.
A lot of conflicting information out there. You know, and everyone that I speak to's got a different take on it, where some people are just like, oh, it's being banned, let's give up, there's no point, you know, like I'm seeing a lot of that kind of action.
The PTMAs, you know what I'm saying, is kind of where we're at right now. So everybody that's categorized as, you know what I'm saying, as a nicotine product, which I'm still categorized as an accessory because I don't sell anything complete. Everything's separate, and I'm a distro. So I mean, we kind of get to kind of slide through on that one. But the way I hear it is that they're going to enforce PTMAs on all hardware as well. So everything's got to get registered there. But I'm not sure. I think that's not till 2020.
Right. So how far are they going to go with that low? Are they going to, like, you know, hardware? Is that going to go all the way through to drip tips, coils? Is it going to go through to every single? Probably. I mean, 21 to buy a battery. I mean,
that's pretty much the way it is right now. Anything that's sold in a vape shop in a lot of those states it's all categorized as a vapor product, regardless if it is or isn't. A battery charger.
21 here, haven't you, Andy? Is it 21 here or is it 18?
It's 18. Smoking age is 18. But if you look under 21, I believe, under 25, they've got to ask you for ID.
Yeah,
that's the way. That's the standard sort of training that they get in the shop here. But I mean, again, you can get married at 16. You can have a child at 16. You can drive at 17 in the UK. I mean, I know it's younger in the States. You can do all of these things. You can join the army as a boy soldier at 16 years old in the UK, and yet you can't smoke. You can't vape. You can't, you know, and it seems to me that there's just some priorities that are just completely round the wrong way there, you know. I mean, if you're old enough to have a family, go to war and drive a car, you should be old enough to make a decision on whether you want to vape or not.
No, I completely agree. I mean, 21 is completely crazy, but, you know, I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but all they're really going to do is just start having their friends that are 21 go in and buy products. I mean, it's not going to stop them from using them, I don't believe.
Well, no, it never stopped me from smoking when I was under legal smoking age. It never stopped me drinking when I was under legal drinking age either. You know, and these outright bans and stuff mean lack of education as well to other people. So, you know, people think I've been banned, that must mean it's bad, and they automatically, you know, non-vapers here. This is the thing that. Look,
but that's what it's all about, is, you know what I'm saying, establishing skepticism. So then people are leery, and, you know what I'm saying, they start buying into the propaganda. And hopefully they just stay smoking cigarettes, because that's ultimately what, you know, what all the governments want you to do, because there's, you know, there's plenty of taxes involved. You know what I mean? And all walks of the world. I mean, Middle East, you know what I'm saying, Asia, wherever. I mean, they ultimately would prefer you smoke cigarettes, because that's what the dollars are at. They're all dollars.
Yeah, and also in the healthcare afterwards as well. You know, people assume that it's just the big tobacco companies and stuff like that are the ones that are doing it, but it's companies that make nicotine patches. They don't want to see vaping succeed. You know,
No.
they don't want to see it happen. You know, and also big pharma as well. They'll be putting out, you know, all of the fake news as well. And then you look at some of these companies, and they're actually funded by the FDA. They get FDA grants and stuff like that, and they're the ones that are putting out. So really, it is the FDA that's actually effectively funding these people. So, I mean,
it's just redistribution of funds. I mean, they're just pushing that money around, you know what I'm saying, all different directions to try to, you know, make it as complicated. And just like you're saying, so people go, I'm going to throw in the towel, I give up. You know what I mean? And it's been working to a certain degree, but you know what I mean? It's a lot of people are trying to stay true, but it's getting harder over here in the States. I mean, I rarely, like in retail stores, like even just my own, you don't really get any new vapors. You know, nobody coming in going, hey, I'm looking to quit smoking cigarettes. You know, I'd like to, you know, try some kind of, you know, a vaping device of some sort, something, and then you have to talk to them. But it's just people really just, you know what I'm saying, you know, grabbing another pack of sticks, grabbing another, you know, whatever they need for a closed device, or coming and grabbing the juice. I mean, if we get one person in 30 days that's like a new person coming, you know what I'm saying, to vape, it's really rare. I mean, it doesn't happen a whole lot.
I mean, that's crazy, because over in the UK, I mean, most vape shops that you go into, all they sell is starter kits. To buy anything advanced, you've either got to be really lucky and live next to Evo or something like that, Evolution or somewhere, or you order online. You know, and like for people like me that live in the middle of nowhere, that's what I do. I order everything online. And like I say, my local vape shop, which isn't really local at all, just the nearest one, I mean, I go in there and they've got Blue, they've got Juul, they've got all this stuff, and it's all based around new vapors. And that's what they say the mainstay of their customers are people coming in and buying starter kits.
Well, I get people that come in and will buy like a case, you know what I'm saying? So there's 4 to a box in the Stigs, and they'll come in and grab, and there's 10, so there's 40 to them, and they'll come in and buy a whole case. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, you know, then you won't see them again for another, you know, 30 days or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody coming and buying a carton of cigarettes. You know what I mean?
I've noticed it in the vape groups as well, though. Even over here in the UK, we don't get a lot of new vapors anymore. We don't get a lot of people coming into vape groups and saying, "Hey."
But I think a lot of that is just the way that we show ourselves to the public. Everybody's so snooty anymore. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got something negative to say to people. Yeah. And anybody that's coming into these groups that's looking to learn or looking to interact, we're setting a bad example. Everybody's like, I don't want to be part of that. There's a bunch of assholes. And that's what it's turned into. We turned into, you know what I'm saying, as a whole, as a group, into a bunch of assholes. And it's not the welcoming whatever. It's like, oh, if you're not using blah, blah, blah brand, they run you out or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like welcoming you in, educating you, you know what I'm saying? And building you up and, you know what I'm saying, keeping them. We keep running off these people, you know what I'm saying? So more and more people are going to Juul, Stig, Miley, Fix.
Yeah.
And that's cool as long as they're still vaping. I don't care what they're using ultimately, but it sucks because they'll never make that graduation. They'll never move into, you know what I'm saying, a different device. They'll just kind of stay there because they can't get educated. Nobody's going to tell them anything. It just makes it harder and harder for, you know what I'm saying, like the shops to survive. You know what I'm saying, off, you know what I'm saying, just your business that you've had over the years. God forbid one person moves to another state or something. That's one customer now you done lost them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people are scared to talk about it even really anymore. Like back, going back 6 years, that's when I opened up my first store, was 6 years ago. And it was a totally different situation. You see somebody else smoking a cigarette and you're a vapor, you strike up a conversation. You know what I'm saying? You kind of give them a little bit of education. Everybody's scared to talk or even scared to be public about it anymore because of all the ridicule and all the bad publicity. So, I mean, I think that's a big...
They've got something negative to say. Do you know what I mean? They're the people that I see now striking up a conversation. They see me vaping, and they'll come up and they'll start talking about it and they'll say, yeah, but you can get pneumonia or popcorn lung or some of this crap they read in the newspaper somewhere.
You're always going to get your trolls, man. But luckily over here, I mean, I see a lot more admins now getting involved.
But I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a whole, as a unit, if you got a troll in your group, you know what I'm saying? They need, you know what I'm saying? People let them stay there rather than just saying bye bye. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think over it, our groups have changed. I got to watch a lot of the group admins over here. They are sort of looking out for these trolls now, and a lot of groups don't want the drama. You know what I mean? It's one of them. So, and I find there's a lot of more of the members now that drive the trolls out as well. In defence to them, there's a lot more in there.
Well, they set up all these fake accounts, and it's just like,
you're never going to.
I don't know what they're trying to prove. You know what I'm saying? Because they're vapors too, and the more that they do that crap, you know what I'm saying, the more they run off other people, and it complicates their life. They're like, oh, I can make my juice, or I can do this, or I can do that, and I can always get a device. But that's the attitude that these assholes have, and it's screwing it up for everybody else. You know what I mean? It really makes it tough.
And also the whole thing with the sweet flavors and everything. Most of that originally came from vapors saying, this is IP theft, this is this is that. Again, just for drama, just to get a reaction. For whatever reason, it didn't do anybody any good. It just put
they didn't
on the hit list.
Personal vendetta against somebody that they didn't like, or they didn't think they did something right, instead of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, my brain doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. But
I mean, we were talking before about, companies that are part owned by Big Tobacco and stuff like that. And, how, we ultimately would like to boycott them. But seeing what's happening over there worries me, because if we keep fighting against them and not letting them have their piece of the fight, let's be honest, that's what this is about. It's about the Big Tobacco companies still being able to make money. And that's what it basically relies on. So in the UK government report, there's a report that got leaked that said they're banning smoking by 2030 in the UK. It's going to be banned outright. Now, whether or not that actually happens, I mean, I'm not even going to mention Brexit, but go slowly in the UK, even when Mexico quickly, but
we don't know what's going on tomorrow, let alone what we're going to do in 10 years.
Well, no, it worries me that the government are colluding with the tobacco companies, because Marlboro said that they're going to be smoke-free by 2029. So it's 1 year later, the government are banning it. And do you get what I'm saying? Like, that just seems like too much of a coincidence. Within a year, the year previous, before the government bans it, Marlboro are stopping tobacco production, or I don't know whether it's going to go to them smokeless devices or what they're going to do.
Well, that's what they're doing. I mean, you know what I'm saying, all the big tobacco companies are buying up, you know what I'm saying, buying into these franchises.
Yeah.
Like all the bigger distros, a lot of the bigger, 20 plus store chains are owned by big tobacco, or a branch of big tobacco. So, I mean, they're slowly letting us, destroy ourselves. And then they're just going to swoop in and be like, well, this is the only thing you're going to be allowed to use. And everybody's going to be sitting there with that stupid dumbfounded look on their face.
Well, yeah. I mean, they ultimately want to make it so that there's only menthol or tobacco flavors, because then nobody has to bother making any new flavors. Nobody has to bother with any innovation. They want standardized devices. So yet again, no research, no bringing out anything new. Everything stays the way it is. So therefore, why would anybody bother going to a vape shop or buying something online when they can just go to the corner shop and get it? It's this, everything's going to be exactly the same, and that, to me, seems to be what they're pushing for, is so that they don't have to spend any more money.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. I mean,
going back to the FDA bit, Ariel, how come they can ignore so much clinical research that's gone into vaping? Obviously, I wrote my nursing dissertation around vaping, and there's like 10,000 research papers based in America that are saying it works.
Yeah.
Totally defunking what they're saying about it being a gateway for teenagers smoking.
They haven't figured out a way, and they haven't been able to push their way or force their way so that we have these inflated taxes. I mean, it all boils down to the government making dollars. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not getting a piece of the pie, it's the same way with marijuana. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess it was Reagan.
Yeah.
Imposed war on drugs.
Yeah.
So,
but
they made anything.
Nobody cared until they caught that big batch of money going from Miami, wasn't it, to Colombia, and they were worried the Miami economy was going to collapse with all the money going out of it. So that was why the war on drugs got started. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
But now they figured out that, you know what I'm saying, that they tax it proper, that, you know what I'm saying, that they make their money and everybody's happy. So it's just state by state that's slowly making, you know what I'm saying, marijuana legal, which, I guess potentially could cause a little strain on the vaping, because that's part of their money. You know what I'm saying? Like, vapor, are you going to, if you got $50 in your pocket, you're going to go buy some marijuana, or are you going to go buy some e-liquid and maybe a new vape or something? You know what I'm saying? You're probably going to spend it over there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it just complicates the pot a bit. You know what I mean? And it sucks, because the people that really do need, the vaping devices, and, you know what I'm saying, for all the proper health reasons and whatnot, it just makes it harder. You know what I mean?
Some of the reports,
it's definitely discouraging.
They're going to end up taxing vaping in the UK. It's in the House of Commons or whatever debate now. So we're going to get taxed, but we think it's just going to be on the nicotine, and that's it.
But that's why they're trying to enforce they're trying to stop all the short fills and whatever, because they're not able to tax it proper. Is that pretty much what's going on?
See, this is the thing. We pay a 20% VAT on it anyway, right? And that VAT gets charged on import. It gets charged by the distro. It gets charged by the shopkeeper to the person buying it. And, so they're getting their tax already over here. Now, the way tobacco is taxed, I understood it, because we've got our National Health Service that arguably we don't pay for. We do with national insurance and stuff like that, but really we get free healthcare. So, they're saying, okay, if you want to smoke and you're going to make yourself ill and we're going to have to fix you up later on, then you've got to pay for it. And that was the rationale with the taxing on tobacco. But vaping doesn't come with the same dangers. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't. So how do they justify the tax on vaping other than they're losing money and they want some? I just, because, I mean,
it's all over dollars.
Yeah.
It's all over dollars. It's like they want to get you coming and going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, essentially, you know what I'm saying, wherever they can enforce some kind of, some kind of tax or some kind of law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the longer they push it, the more people over here take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, come this date, this is happening. And then all of a sudden that doesn't happen. And then so everybody over here is like, nothing's ever going to happen. You know, it's like the little boy who cried wolf or whatever. It's like enough of that. And people just start taking it for granted and nobody takes it serious anymore. I mean, I remember 5 years ago, it was like, you know, they were going to enforce the deadline and then it got bumped and then it got bumped and then it got changed. And it's just like, nobody really knows. And they're doing just that to keep you in a rat race. So you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, ever since I've been sort of around the vape scene, the vaping's been under attack in America. The whole time has been this general theme of, you know, we're under attack. But where you have different state legislation, do you know what I mean? From one state to the next to the next. So each legislation's going to have its own type of language, and they're going to put, you know, certain specifics on certain things. So it's going to be different from state to state to state. And I think that's the hardest thing when you've got people then. How do you all come together and, you know, say, right, we've got to tackle this? Because you tackle your fight.
But we're never going to really be able to come together because everybody's fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's fighting. So it's like, you know, it's I don't know. It's a hot mess. I mean, I go to bed at night trying to think of, you know, plans to try to, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, educate people. And, you know, what 2 years ago, I contacted almost every other manufacturer to try to make a union, right? So that we could all work together, we could utilize our, you know, our follower base or whatever to, you know, so if something happened, we're all in it together. You know what I mean? Only one other company was even like, oh, I'd consider it if you can get some more people involved in it. Everybody I reached out to me is like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And they just hung up on me. Right. So it's like without, you know what I'm saying, the manufacturers communicating with each other and standing some kind of common ground, I don't see anything changing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's like the big tobacco, they all sit down at a round table and they plot up this big scheme to try to, you know what I'm saying, to take over the world. You know what I mean? So, but yet here we are, you know what I'm saying, and we've got just as big a piece of the pie, and there's enough vapers in the country that we should be able to overturn this, but
everyone's too busy bitching at each other. This is this thing. Everybody's too busy fighting with each other. It's become like, you know, some groups I go on them and it's like a team. It's become a team sport. I'm with team this. I'm with team. You know, and I get it. Obviously, I'm on teams, but you know what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that, you know, you necessarily just got to like what you like and you've got to be against everybody else. It's a very sort of totalitarian way of thinking where you're sort of like, it's us and them, you know, where it should be all of us.
But somewhere along the line that I got us skewed, you know what I mean? And people went off on tangents and are taking it, you know, a bit too far. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, as far as my team goes, you know what I'm saying? Like there's none of that. But I can't say that about, you know what I'm saying, like other groups so much. I mean, there's a few out there that are, you know, that are friendly, and there's a lot of groups that don't put up with, you know, bashing or hatred with other companies and stuff. But I mean, a lot of admins of groups, man, they let a lot of stuff slide that shouldn't be sliding. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we're all in it together. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's like I say, some people are actually encouraging it because they think it's funny, because they want to see somebody else fail for whatever personal reason. They don't like this person, but they're not looking at the bigger picture. That every single person that fails is just another block took out of the big giant
one less group to fight against it, and you know what I'm saying, to propel us a little bit longer. But you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm open for suggestions, believe me, but you know, as a unit, that's what I was thinking, was that everybody together, like all the manufacturers come together, and we could attack it as a unit. But you know, everybody's too worried about lining their pockets, not looking at the end game. You know what I mean? So
how can they be lining their pockets if it gets banned? Like, you know, I mean, if it gets banned,
well, they figure, and their thinking is what I'm thinking is that, you know, by one person gone, then they're going to get, you know what I'm saying, you know, their business or whatever. So it's all, you know what I mean? Their share of the pie. So that all it did was make the pie smaller. So now the people that are in those particular categories are going to go to the other piece of pie, where in turns, you don't know that that's necessarily the case, and I wouldn't want to gamble like that. You know what I mean? I think there's enough profit shares for everybody as far as the dollars are concerned, that everybody can make a living. You know what I mean? Let people vape whatever the fuck you want to vape. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, let's get back to the, you know what I'm saying, to the nuts and bolts, how we all got here, and let's not forget where you came from. You know, and that's the biggest problem is people forget where the hell they came from, and they're too worried about being goddamn vape famous that they're not looking at the big picture. It's so messed up. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, get acknowledged for something positive that you did instead of something, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I single-handedly destroyed such and such brand or whatever. And that's something to be proud of. Like, it's like somebody's family got fed with that money. You know what I'm saying? There was employees that worked there that they're, you know what I'm saying, that relied on that paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people see it in the big picture that it's, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's all fun and games for a lot of people that are vapors and whatever, you know, this is, oh, I got such and such device and I'm using, you know, blah, 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 and fuck so-and-so or whatever. But it's like all those fucks and all that, you know, all that hatred to those other brands, it's affecting something, you know, not just one person's life, it's affecting multiple people's lives. And, you know what I'm saying? And then everybody else that's attached to that brand that, you know, believes in that particular flavor or that particular RDA or that device or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I get pretty frustrated about it at the end of the day, but you know, I'm just one person. Yeah. You know, I'm one manufacturer. I can't do it by myself. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm thinking now about what you were saying about making some sort of union with all the other companies and that people just didn't want to know. I mean, maybe I'm going to talk to you about this again, and maybe we can do something because I've got loads of time on my hands anyway. So, you know,
because I mean, that's the only way that when everybody comes together as a unit, more stuff gets done. You know what I'm saying, in a group. You know what I'm saying. You know, where everybody's pulling the same direction, rather than you got this person going this way, this person going this way, this person going this way, that person going that way, and meanwhile, nothing's getting accomplished. I mean, we're just. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're just making a bigger mess of the situation.
It really is a sad state of affairs, isn't it?
I mean, the worst thing is most of the people that are voting on these vaping laws and bans and stuff like that, they don't vape. So, you know, the people that are really making the decisions, you know, it's not going to affect them in the long run. So they don't really care. And the people that do care about it are sort of complacent and think, oh, it's not going to happen anyway, so they don't bother getting up and voting. And, you know, I've seen...
Yeah, like, it's like, oh, another petition? It's like, oh, we got to call such and such governor now, and, you know what I'm saying, like, in this state, and in this state, and in this state. And it's been going on for so long, nobody thinks anything's going to happen. And then that's exactly when stuff happens. You know what I mean? And,
I mean, I like the amount of petitions that I've seen, you know, in the last few years. The amount
I can hit thousands. Thousands. I've signed thousands upon thousands of them. And I've told everybody in my groups and all my customers and everybody, it's like, oh, you know, sign this petition. And they're like, they go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I can, in the very beginning, I was giving everybody free juice, like, go and sign the petition, like, motivating them, you know, it's like, this is serious, this is for real, you know, and it's like, how many times can you tell that same group of people to keep, you know what I'm saying, repeating, they get frustrated, you know, they're like, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and it's going to happen, whatever, you know, where...
I've already signed petitions and we're still here, so what's the point? And then they give up. So I suppose, I see exactly what you're saying, but you know, I suppose then it comes down to, you know, how passionate you are.
I think instead of letting the government enforce tax, I think as a unit we should just, you know what I'm saying, you know, collaborate together and just start paying in that tax, right? Just start sending it in, you know what I mean? And then everybody's already doing it.
what are they going to do at that point? They're getting their money, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, everybody knows everybody plays with their tax returns. I mean, that's like a national thing. I don't care what world or what country you live in. Everybody plays with their tax returns. So, I mean, it's like, and they don't really get it, right? They just let it go. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're getting 75% of the money, you know, whatever, right? But, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, but if we just started paying, you know, a set tax everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And you're just sending it in. Are they going to get mad? You know what I'm saying? Or are they just going to leave us alone? You know what I'm saying? I mean, or, you know, or if that's not the plan, we all come together as a unit, and instead of like, you know, oh, we're in this position, let's try to make it so this doesn't happen, that we all come together and say, all right, we're good with paying 15% tax. We're good with paying 16% tax, and sign it, and let's just move on with the day. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it over and done with. I mean, whatever, instead of them trying to come in and say, well, we're going to impose 40% here, and we're going to impose 20% here and 12% here, and we're going to ban it here and here. I mean, at the end of the day, they just want some money. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. You know, it's really frustrating.
Someone like you who makes products and everything, I can only imagine how bad it is.
But I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, I pay a shit ton of taxes already. I mean, just across the board, and insurance and everything else, and it's like, oh my God, you know. But yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think anything's really going to change. Anything's really going to change as a whole until everyone comes together and really starts fighting the battle as a unit, instead of everybody, you know, pulling different directions.
Yeah, everybody.
In respect to that, though, what can we do for you from over here? Because I know we get asked to share things out and stuff like that, but you know, we're doing this show now to try and advocate and educate and stuff like that. Do you see what?
Well, you've got a couple of manufacturers that are trying to like capitalize on the industry as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even cloud comps aren't fair in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like, people go to cloud comps. You can't even win the cloud comp because another manufacturer's got majority shareholders there, and you're automatically not even going to. You can't even show, because they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you show your people on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Winning a comp. So like, your people go to comps and they get beat out unfairly because they're not fair. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, it's a rig mod comp or whatever, or it's an AV comp, or if it's a comp life comp, or purge or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're not judged fairly. You know, so it's like that gets kind of discouraging too, because all you see is those same people on pedestals all the time, and it's like, there's probably some good people that are blowing clouds that are in those groups or whatever, but it's like, come on, like, let's be fair. I know there's some nobody that would have won that comp if they would have judged it fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that's not necessarily affiliated with a direct brand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're not fair. You know what I mean? But you know, what are you going to do about that? That's a whole other topic for discussion. But
just looking down in the comments and everything, we've got quite a few people saying a few bits and bobs here. We've got Emma Fraser. How long do we fight the TPD? 2016. She messaged everyone possible, tweeted, etc. It counted for nothing. But I've said this before. TPD is actually good for us. The price of juice is less than half of what it was before TPD came in. So, you know, in a way, it did work out pretty well for us.
I say let them get a piece. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's just, you know, yeah. if you don't come to them and present them with the proper tax, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, everybody as a unit's willing to do this, and let's negotiate a tax rather than letting them impose whatever they want. That's the biggest problem, because we're what we're doing as a community. We're like contributing all this money to advocates, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People to be up there and talk on our behalf, and we're trying to not pay the tax. Where
why not
let
just
them
pay the tax? Be done with it,
just give them some fucking tax. You know what I mean? It's just, we all came together as a unit, each state, and submitted it and said, hey, we'll give you 15%. Just leave us the fuck alone. But nobody will actually do that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just kind of wants to skirt it all all the way around, and all it's doing is hurting us in the long run. You know, it's like, let them take their 15%. I'll gladly give them 15% to get a decent night's sleep at night.
Yeah.
Not thinking that I'm going to wake up one day and, you know what I'm saying, and not be able to, you know what I'm saying, provide, you know, a service for, you know what I'm saying, the people. You know what I mean? It's not even the customers. It's just for people in general all over the world. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you worry about that. It's like, oh, I'm going to be out of business any day now. And you go to sleep thinking that every single day. It's relatively discouraging. You know what I mean? You're like, man, you know, it's like, you never know. It's that uncertainty, you know? And that's what they want you to have, that uncertainty. They want you to be walking on eggshells all the time, you know?
I mean, I think that, you know, with us in the UK, a lot of people over here, we're kind of like, we're all right, you know, let them deal with it. I mean, me personally, that's not my attitude, but, you know, a lot of people over here will kind of be like, oh, well, even though a lot of the products are kind of made in America that we all use over here, you know, let's be honest, how much British vape stuff even is there, you know? There's not
you can't even import it into the country. Because if you didn't meet the deadline, you couldn't submit applications. So all these, you know what I'm saying, you got a lot of newer companies that are coming to be over there.
Yeah.
So there's no way to really even import those brands because they weren't here before the deadline. So you can't, you know what I'm saying, unless you were willing to put shady paperwork
maybe
and worry about the repercussions.
Maybe you'll have to be incorporated with somebody who's already got the, you know, who's already got the thing to import. Maybe somehow
that's a gray area because it's all based off of flavors submitted. You know what I'm saying? So the name could change, but the flavors that they submit that were on the market. So like you could go back and resubmit a new label. So you could change the label, you could change the company, but those particular flavors that were registered under that particular original company, you have to stay with those. Like you can't. You had a blueberry pie, now you can make it blackberry pie. You can't do that. It has to stay blueberry pie. It doesn't matter if you change the name from, you know, XYZ to, you know what I'm saying, to QR0 or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. But that flavor profile has to stay the same. So I mean, if you had 12 flavors and you had, you know, a full lineup of your 12 flavors, you can't change them. You can't change the recipe. You can't change nothing. It has to be that. Now you can go back and say, I want to call it, you know, a different name, or you want to name it something different. You can do that, you know, from the way that I understand it. I've done it.
The actual recipe that you submitted has to stay the same, and it can't change. I mean, I think that's like, you know, the TPD over here, and the 10 ml bottles that are actually TPD tested and everything like that. I think it costs something upwards of 5,000 a flavour. You know,
5,000.
Yeah. So you imagine
you're talking like $1 million around about, give or take, is pretty much where we're looking at. It's crazy. So I mean, you know, if you're a smaller company and you're not turning, you know what I'm saying, the revenue to be able to justify sending in, you know, whatever, you know, XYZ dollars, then, you know what I'm saying? So it's turned into a big boy sport, which is cool, I guess, to a certain degree, as long as we're still here. But what about, you know, a new company that's trying to come up? I mean, what about equal opportunity? This is America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we let all these immigrants in and we pay their health insurance and we give them places to stay and all this money and whatever. And it's like, who's paying that? The taxpayers are. You know what I mean? Like, the taxpayers are paying for that. It's like, you know, the more tax-paying citizens there are, the more money the government makes. So I don't understand.
Everything, when you break it all down and you take away all the bullshit, and when you actually get down to the bones of it, it's all about money. And, you know, it's all about, and it's not even so much, big tobacco and this, that, the other, but it's the government as well. It's like you say, it's the governments. They want to make sure that they can make their money out of it. Like with us, they did the TPD. You've got to pay 5,000 for each flavour. That's how they worked out how they were going to get their extra bit in the pie. But we worked around that. Now,
that would be a relatively fair number. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's something that, you know, if you know, Joe Schmo wanted to, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to and his labels are, you know, meeting proper criteria and you're not marketing to children and all that other stuff, you know, let them be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let them. But it's not going to happen. We're going to get down to this, like Juul, Miley, Bix, and then those guys are all fighting each other too, because Juul owns the patent for that style device, a closed system with the salt nick delivery, blah blah blah. They own the patent for that, right? So they're Juul suing Miley, Juul suing Bix, Juul suing any other company that came out with a device that even resembles what they launched, you know what I'm saying, 6-7 years ago. So they're slowly, you know what I'm saying, knocking off, you know what I'm saying, the bits of them too. So they're fighting with each other, you know what I'm saying, where it's like the mech side and, you know what I'm saying, the higher end stuff, we're all fighting each other too. And meanwhile, the government's just over here going, we got this. We're gonna just give it another 6 months. We're gonna just slide something right in here soon enough. You know what I mean? It's only a matter of time. But meanwhile, if you manufacture in China, and you know what I'm saying, you have no ties to the U.S. as far as the company is concerned, you can manufacture in China and ship to the United States, and you don't have to worry about anything until they finally end up, you know what I'm saying, cracking down on that side of it. So you can do whatever you want across the water. You can export to the States and not have to register. You don't have to do any PTMAs or any of that crap. Just kind of circumcede it. There's not even any attachment to the U.S. government.
Didn't Donald Trump say at one point he was putting a 20% tax on anything that coming in from China, and everybody was like, oh, that's the end of the vaping industry. So, I was like, well, we pay a 20% import tax on everything anyways, and it hasn't killed it over here. So, you know.
And, you know, 20% is 20%. You know what I mean? It's when it gets to like 30, 40, 50, 60% tax. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a 20% hike on, you know what I'm saying, something that costs $200. I mean, that could kind of hurt. You know what I mean? But a 20% hike on something that's only like 13 is probably going to kill you. You know what I mean? But, you know, I mean, I get it. I mean, the government's got to get their money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, let them get their money. They're going to get it one way or the other.
Businesses in the world of the government, you know, and that's it. And they've got unlimited resources. They've got people that are willing to do, you know, all of the stuff that we need to be doing. They've got people that are doing that for them, you know, advocating for them in the direction they want to go. I mean, and you say like Juul and everybody else, they're all fighting with each other. All of the mech companies, they're all fighting with each other. All the people that are on teams, they're all fighting with each other. And really, nothing's getting done. Yeah,
everybody's blinded. They don't even see what's coming at them.
Remember the old Tom and Jerry cartoons when the dog and the cat have a fight and it just be a big ball of smoke and nothing? That's what it's turning into. It's just a smoke. Yeah. You know, but if people don't come together and say, you know, we're going to actually do something about this, then, you know,
we're at the mercy of the government, and you know what I'm saying. I mean, and that's cool. I mean, there needs to be a government. Like, I'm not like one that's like an anarchist or anything like that. Like, I believe in government, because without government, you have a huge clusterfuck. But yeah, no, I mean, America and the UK is, you know what I'm saying, they're great countries, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they are. They both have, you know, they have their structure and they're different and their accents are different and whatever, but we're all the same, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're all human beings and we should have the right of choice, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, just recently, I mean, since we're talking about politics, you know, they just made it so you cannot get an abortion in the United States. Even if you were raped by somebody, you cannot go and have an abortion.
Well, they've actually banned abortion now completely.
Yep. So I mean, like, you know, I can't imagine. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? It's just like that just goes to show when push comes to shove, I think people should have the choice. You know what I'm saying?
To me, all that's going to do is force that kind of practice underground, and that's where it gets dangerous.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like
it's the And that's everybody's mentality here in the States is like, oh, we'll just go prohibition or whatever. You know what I mean? And we'll go back to the way it was when we couldn't have alcohol in this country or whatever. You know, it just go underground. And it's
that was a great
oh
time.
my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, I don't like jail. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like my house taken away from me or whatever. No, I mean, is it worth it that far? I mean, that's probably a far stretch. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just pay our taxes and just get it all over with. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if this boils down to just companies not wanting to pay tax and, you know, consumers not wanting to pay tax, then unfortunately, you know, they're in for a shock because it's going to happen whether they like it or not. So they may as well just pull together and just do it and just say, I mean, I honestly, it's astonishing that you have not got some sort of group of people that are saying.
We do, but it feels like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, I donate money to several advocacy groups and, you know, Smoke Free Florida and, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's like 30 of them out there. And I do my fair donations and whatever, but it's like, and you can try to follow it, but it feels like we're trying to like circumvent it. You know what I mean? And it's like, all we need to do is just present them a fair number and go, hey, we're willing to do this. You know, we're $1 billion, you know, such and such industry, you know, as a whole. I haven't done the polls on that to know exactly what the dollar is, but I'm just using that as an example. So if we were $20 billion a year industry, you know, here's 15% of the total, not on top of sales tax or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I don't see the government going, no, we want 27, whatever. You could probably negotiate a number that works. You know what I'm saying? Instead of negotiating the number that works, everybody's like, oh, let's try to get this thrown out. And it's like, I get it. Like, getting it thrown out, that's great. Like, that gives us another 6 months until something else. Now we got another issue. Here we go. They're trying to do this. You know what I mean? Like, they halfway Indoor Smoking Act into an offshore drilling thing for Florida. So
I saw that. That was absolutely crazy. So if you voted against the offshore drilling, you also voted against vaping flavors, was it? Was it that one? Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor, hold on. Let me walk in. My neighbor is cutting its grass. Hold on.
Have a quick look at the comments.
But I mean, yes, I mean, that's all. There we go. Did we lose some people?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of people in here. We've got Rep Smart, which is Acapella Harrison, and he's saying the prices between brick and mortar stores and online stores are already at risk of being too high. Now, I mean, I said this at the last show. I went into a shop and they literally had 3 shelves. Anything on this shelf was £16. It didn't matter whether it was a 10ml bottle or a 100ml bottle. And then everything on the next shelf was like £20 or so. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, the difference in pricing between the people who walk into the vape shops in the UK, they get robbed. Right? By the people in the store, they're paying almost double what they pay online. You know, and a lot of them, they haven't got any competition. So, you know, the people who don't buy online, they just go into the vape shop and they just don't question it. They think that price is just the price, you know, they just assume that that's what it is. But I can't see the government actually putting any extra taxes or anything on us now. But
you guys are, you know what I'm saying? You guys are fortunate then, because you know, it's always it's been a struggle ever since pretty much I came into the game, and I've been here for, you know, guess about 7.5 years, and almost the whole entire time that I've had the business, it's been some kind of, you know what I'm saying, you know, where it's some kind of threat, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, since I've been involved in the vape scene, like, you know, obviously we had the TPD thing going on. We didn't know what was going to happen with that. It was all, even if it came in TPD, we really didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, it was like, what's banned? What are we allowed to do? And I mean, they even tried to ban, the menthol tips for cigarettes, but for hand-rolled cigarettes, they even tried to ban everything with TPD and stuff. But then TPD came and went, and we're still here. But I think that we've all become a little bit complacent in the UK because we're like, we're all right, Bob. Like, that's your shit, deal with it. But unfortunately, most of the stuff we use doesn't come from within the UK. So if vaping gets shut down in America, that means no more sieges for me, no more apocalypse. I mean, what?
No more. A lot of the but I mean, it wouldn't. Even if they outlawed it here in this country, what I'm saying, as long as the company wanted to stay in business and it was an export only situation,
right?
Then we could still maintain business in Florida and California and whatever country and only export. You know what I mean? Like, it would be an export only type situation, and you wouldn't be licensed or registered or whatever. In this country, you'd have to be, registered in, whatever other country, and solely exporting to that particular country. A lot of Chinese products are that way. You know what I mean? Like, they'll produce and distribute in China, but they're not, you know what I mean? They don't export for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So I mean, that is something that could potentially come to be. I hope it doesn't go there, though. That would be terrible.
I mean, the Chinese, like, I've seen some videos, and you see a Chinese guy and he's there and he's vaping and smoking a cigarette at the same time and stuff like that. I've seen all kinds of madness.
Well, it's an alternative to smoking for most people. It's either A or B. You know what I mean? And I'm fine with that. I mean, just categorize it whatever you want. You know what I mean? But everybody that does vape that I know knows the benefits from vaping versus smoking cigarettes. So it goes back to that give us the choice to make that decision on our own instead of make that decision for us.
These are the things that are meant to make our country so great. Is the fact that we've got the freedom of choice, right? We're all adults. We can all make decisions. This, that, the other. I get it what they're saying about directing stuff towards children, but in reality, I haven't really seen any young people vaping ever. Like, I haven't seen anybody.
That definitely is. There is a bit of truth to that in the States. You know what I mean? But we were looking over the polls just on Thursday, and it just looks like the numbers have just kind of moved in placement. So it's like, if you go back to 2010 and you look, instead of, primarily the kids smoking, or new smokers, you see that number split. So if you go from 2012 to 2018 to the last poll, right? All it really looks like is that more the kids went from smoking cigarettes to vaping. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the smoking going up, and that's what they're mad about, because the taxes, they're getting their tax dollars on the smoking. So ultimately, they'd rather see the kids smoke a cigarette than vape. So, but the numbers they just moved placement. It's just all they did was do like this. The number didn't really go up. It wasn't like we've got 40% of our underage U.S. citizens vaping that didn't use cigarettes or something before. It's not like the number, you know what I mean? It's just they're saying,
the direct correlation between the two, isn't there?
Where it was 35% here, now it's 15 here and 20 here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, all it did was
of people, going into smoking or vaping isn't going up, then it shouldn't really matter as far as I'm concerned. And if the amount,
that main statistic number didn't really change. It's like if you add those two numbers together and you go back, 4 years or 5 years, that number's actually probably lower than it was there as a whole, because you don't really see it going up. But
when I was younger, if you didn't smoke, it was unusual. It was one of them things.
Well, it's like everything else in school. It's like you're in high school. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the cool thing to go and get drunk at high school parties, or to smoke a cigarette, or to have sex at 13 years old or whatever, whatever it is. It's like, it's the cool thing to do, right? But it's like, you're not going to change that. Like that's not going to ever change. I don't care what happens to any government in any country. You're not going to change what a teenager's decisions are.
Yeah, I mean,
especially without proper parenting.
In the UK, the amount of teenage smokers has actually gone down over the last 10 years. The amount of people, like I say, is smoking in the UK is sort of seen as very antisocial now. It's not allowed to smoke anywhere indoors unless it's your own private property. No businesses, no pubs, no bars. You're not allowed to smoke anywhere. You've been
That's the same year.
Yeah,
they just passed the Clean Air Indoor Act or whatever. So like, if it's your own business, you're not allowed to smoke or vape inside of your own business, even if it's not a retail store.
My friend's got his company van, right? He's a boiler engineer, and he has a company van, and that's classed as his workspace, and he's not allowed to smoke in it. Like literally, he's got no smoking signs in his van. That is classed as his workspace, and he's not allowed to smoke in it. He does, or vape,
Yeah, anything categorized as a business, you're not allowed to smoke or vape inside of a business establishment. Doesn't matter, period. So I mean, and that passed, and I haven't really heard anybody talking about it as far as like, because I'm on a couple pages as far as like, vape shop owners or whatever, like there's a couple pages like that for domestic, and I haven't really brought it to the attention, but I mean that just passed like just recently, and I haven't heard anybody freaking out, because I know New York had a situation where like if you were sampling juice, you weren't allowed to vape inside of the establishment. You would have to like drip it,
you're allowed
and then go outside and sample it or whatever, But then, yeah,
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like over here, stuff as far as vaping goes, if you want to allow vaping, you can. So it's up to really the individual proprietor.
And I think it should be left up to the business owner. You posted on the board. This is a vaping or a smoking establishment. Enter at your own risk or whatever. You know what I mean? If it's you're not allowed to smoke or vape inside of bars or restaurants, even if they don't serve food. Like I could see if it was like a food. And that was your choice. You go outside in the smoking area or whatever and smoke or vape. But you can't even, but now you're not, now that passed, I don't even know if you're even allowed to outside vape or smoke anymore.
Outdoor smoking shelters, but I mean, that killed the pubs and stuff in the UK. A lot of the small village pubs and that now closed down because a lot of people, they like to go out and they like to have a cigarette with a beer. And,
they kind of go hand in hand. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
here's the thing.
I know people that don't even smoke, and they'll go get a drink, and then they'll smoke a cigarette or vape or something. They don't normally even vape or smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like in their day-to-day lives. But if they're out at a bar or something like that, they'll use one or the other,
I think one of the things with that is, though, because over here you can't smoke in a pub. So a lot of people do it because that's the only way they can socialise.
Yeah.
Because, if you're in a group and 5 of them people smoke.
That's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? You end up being like that uneven soldier, the outcast or whatever that's not. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I could see where you're coming from in that regard.
Last 10 minutes, chaps. Let's change the subject completely. Let's go expo. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show. We're running over, but balls to it. Expos, Ariel, where's your best expo? Don't just say England.
Yeah, don't say UK.
Honestly, anywhere but the United States. We can't get people to come. They don't show up. I mean, there's just this week. They had one. It's actually today's the last day. It's in Long Island.
Yeah.
And I saw pictures, and if I said there was probably 200 people that had come up until now, I might even be over exaggerating. It's none of nobody really wants to get involved. As soon as they took
giving free stuff away, right? As soon as the U.S. imposed that, we lost 50% of the people that came to the shows right off the bat. Those people don't want to come anymore. Maybe even 60%. So now you just lost 60% of the people, the normal people that would come through the doors.
That's your football. That's your football. We're going to come in and spend money.
Oh yeah, you know, half of the people at the UK Expo, they only turn up so they can stand there by that main stage and catch what they can, you know.
Perfect.
I mean,
if they don't like it, maybe they give it to a friend, and the friend likes it, and then the friend ends up, you know what I'm saying, you know, coming back for a future purchase or whatever. I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying, whoever, as long as it ends up in somebody's hands, because generally, if you don't like XYZ juice, you're gonna go, here, you want this? You're gonna give it to somebody else, and if that person goes, oh, I actually do like this, and then they go and they make a purchase later on or whatever, you know what I mean? Or they don't like it, they pass it 5 people on down the line. Somebody's bound to like that particular flavor and return for a purchase. So, I mean, I think, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, giving out some free juice, even if that particular person doesn't like it or use it, they're bound to give it to somebody else, you know what I'm saying, that actually does like it. So, I mean,
you see people after Expo in the UK, everyone's like posting up on the groups. Look at my bounty that I got from Expo, you know.
Yeah, and people are trading juice, and you know what I'm saying, like, oh, look, hey, you got an extra large shirt in that bag or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I only got a medium or whatever, and people are trading shirts and whatever, you know, but at the end of the day, somebody's using it. It's not like it's just going in the trash, you know what I mean? Like, it ends up in somebody's hands at the end of the day that actually likes it.
People will go back and buy things. If they get something for free and they like it, they will buy more. That's simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, I mean, just because, you know, you don't like a particular juice, or I don't like a particular juice, or Zippy doesn't like a particular juice, or, you know what I'm saying, whoever doesn't like a particular juice doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't like it, you know, because there's lots of juices that I sell in my retail store and I sell on the website that I'm not a huge fan of, but they sell, you know what I mean? Somebody likes it, you know, so.
At all, so you know, I've got a friend who loves anything that's got that ice kind of hit to it. So if I ever get anything like that, straight away I just give it to him because it gives me heartburn. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like I'll hit my vape a few times and I'll feel like I'm going to be sick because it's that bad. The heartburn.
What should I do my job, Andy?
Well, yeah. I mean, like how you do juice reviews with some of the flavors, like, you know, because I'm quite fussy.
You know, you give your best perspective on it, and you know somebody's bound to go, oh man, I really like a blah 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 menthol, or I really like something with a rutabaga flavor, or pineapple pizza, or whatever. You know, different stuff for different folks.
Heisenberg, classic one. Some people love it.
But going back to vape shows, vape conventions, all these promoters, they sell all this booth space, but they don't give you proper endorsement. They don't advertise proper. They don't even send out flyers to the vape shops to let the vape shop owners that are within like 20 miles, even though there's a vape convention even coming, nor do they give out free passes for them to come in, or, you know what I'm saying, just make them free for people to come in to, you know, to visit the show. They're trying to double dip. They want money from the vendors. They want money from promotional stuff. They want money from every little thing. The food vendors, they're getting rich. And then here we are, you know what I'm saying? The people that are drawing in the customers, we get taken for granted, and we're just, you know, it costs $20,000 to go and do a show somewhere, and you don't even break even. You can't even go home with even say, well, you know, we made a good presence, you know what I'm saying, we're staying relevant. You can't even justify the expense anymore. It's gotten to that point where you're like, man, do I just hold back and not go, or do I go? You know what I mean? It sucks that it's come to that. You know what I mean? You don't know.
That's the other side of it, though, where it comes to companies being able to give stuff away. If they've been and spent £20,000 on a booth, how do they give more away? You know what I mean?
But then you've got the people who go to the show. They paid for a train ticket or petrol to get there. They paid the extortionate parking rate in the car parks. They paid for a hotel room for 2-3 days. You know, like for me to go into the show in the UK, it cost me almost £1,000. You know, like that's just standard. I'm glad we only have 2 a year. you know, because it absolutely kills me every
But
time.
not-
Guys.
In the States, we have like 60. You know what I mean? There's one in Florida, one in California. There's one in Vegas. There's one in, you know, North Carolina. There's, you know what I mean? So there's months where we have like 2 and 3 shows going the same freaking month. Like, do those promoters even like go and look and go, oh wow, there's a show this weekend. Maybe we shouldn't do it the weekend after. Maybe we should wait a couple weeks or a month or something to throw it. Like, do they even talk to each other? Do they look to see if there's a music festival in the same city and on the same block? You know what I mean? Because I can't tell you how many times that's happened to us. Show up to a show and there's like a huge music festival going on where like 75,000 people show up, or a Dallas football game, like a playoffs game or something like that. It's like, you know, where are they going to go? Are they going to go to the playoffs game? Or are they going to come to the vape convention? You know what I mean? Like, let's think about that for a minute. Are we going to a NASCAR race? Or are we going to a vape convention? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, dates are kind of an important thing, I think. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I think that stuff's kind of important.
Yeah.
And then you went to the next UK Expo area in October.
So this is my quandary, is I've got Tampa the weekend before. So I'm trying to get it set up. Well, I got a crap ton of my team members coming for Tampa. And that's going to be a good show. Those guys actually give it the effort that they're supposed to do proper advertisement. They go around and they actually hit up, you know what I'm saying, all the shops within like a 25 to a 50-mile radius, hand them flyers, give them free admission, you know, put pamphlets up in the window and stuff like that. I mean, at least you can get the people in that local community to show up and hope that some people will travel for it. But back to the UK. So I'm going to try to slide it so that so I can leave and, you know what I'm saying, just literally jump abroad and come over there, at least be for both. It just sucks because, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they'll do the UK and then there'll be a show like the weekend after in another country that's closer over there, but far as shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, something right after it. Yep.
I mean, I suppose that's where you rely on the team then. Like, if there's a show that you can't get to, it's just the people that are on the team that are local to it, for them to go, wear their shirts, wear their hats, use the devices, walk around and make a bit of a presence. You know?
That always plays a part. And I'm, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm super grateful for that. Believe me. My hat goes off to all my team and anybody that's a supporter, and even my haters for that matter, because it's still advertisement. But, you know, I mean, I love everybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, most people that hate on me don't even know me. Never met me, number one.
Well, that haters or haters
wouldn't know me in a crowd. You know what I mean? But they got something to say about. Everybody's got something to say about somebody anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
mine's usually
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they always say, they hate us because they hate us. You know, at the end of the day, you're always going to get somebody who's going to hate you for whatever reason. You get the nicest person in the world, I'll find somebody that thinks they're an asshole. You know, I mean, it's not hard. Not everybody's going to like everyone, but then I don't really care if people like me or not. You know, to a certain degree, because if they don't,
to a certain degree, I could care less too. You know what I mean? You know, it gets to a certain point, like if you've got mass people that just dislike you and they don't even really know you, it's like, man, at least give the person a chance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe do some research or something, like some real research, not, you know what I mean? Like research,
The whole idea of this show originally came from was the fact that we could actually give manufacturers somewhere they could come and it's a safe place where they're not going to get attacked. They're not going to get jumped on. They're not going to get bashed. They're going to get a chance to have their say, because I'm sick and tired of it being one-sided, you know.
But the majority of the industry is that way anymore. You know what I mean? Where they only get one view. It's not like you get to see, you know, and like the real person. Like, you know, it's like, let's turn the lights off. Yeah, let's turn the lights off. And
I see a lot of brands where the people who own them brands won't come on to things like this. They won't get involved, you know, and it's a shame because it gives people a chance to, you know, let them get interactive with with the groups. Let them get interactive with the community.
I think engaging with your customers and with your fan base and with the with the public in general is a plus. I mean, why wouldn't you want to engage? You know what I'm saying, with your supporters? You know what I'm saying, with the people that you know what I'm saying that they go and they work and they spend their hard-earned dollars on XYZ product. We know whoever's brand it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to show some support and a little bit of love. You know what I'm saying? You have to, or you're not going to.
There's not enough of that.
But do you think that might be because of certain groups that do attack them, so they don't want to go on because they're going to get attacked for something? It could be
to try to avoid the negative feedback or whatever.
Yeah, they're just like, right, I'm staying out of
but
it.
You never.
Well, then, when Ariel came
there's nothing stopping them doing it on their own channels, on their own groups.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's what everybody has the right to an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has the right to an opinion, but it's an opinion. That's your feelings. That doesn't have to be necessarily. Everybody doesn't have to feel the same way about a particular situation. I mean, we're all humans here. You know what I mean? Like I may really hate Vinny, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if somebody dislikes Vinny or dislikes me or dislikes Zippy or whoever. It's like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so okay, you don't like me. Big deal. Yeah. Move on with the day. You don't have to try to tell the whole world. You know what I'm saying? That you part or whatever. It sucks. It's like, yeah, I might have bad gas, but it doesn't make me a bad person or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, who cares?
It's like my nan says,
who cares?
My nan always used to tell me that opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, and most of them stink. And it's pretty true, and you can't please all the people all the time.
No, you can't.
I don't want to please everybody all the time. I don't mind pissing one or two people.
No, I quite like pissing people off.
Yeah, but that's because you're secure in yourself, Steve. You know what I mean? Like, you're secure in yourself. You're not bothered. Some people are. They're not secure in themselves. They're not.
I mean, It sucks when it's like untrue or it's an unfair statement or whatever, and you don't get a chance to like rightfully defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like in a fair manner, like rightfully defend yourself without like you saying something. Oh, you're a fucking such and such, or you're this or that. It's like, give me a fair shake at least. You know what I mean?
There's enough social media outlets. There are enough social media outlets for people to be able to do that.
Definitely.
You know what I
mean? No. There's definitely not enough. And I think a lot of people don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I stay busy a lot or whatever, like I'm constantly, creating something new, traveling for a convention, I run 3 businesses, you know what I'm saying? Outside of, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just trying to juggle your time in general. And I get that, you know what I mean? But this type of interaction, you know what I'm saying, with with the consumers and your fans and the public or whatever, or even haters, you know what I mean? It's good that they they have a place to sit there. They can get mad about it, maybe they don't like the something that I said or whatever, but I don't necessarily like everything that everybody else says. You know what I mean? So
definitely,
it's just that way, But I mean, you don't see me jumping on the backside of a keyboard or like jumping in on somebody's post and you know what I'm saying, saying some stupid shit or whatever. It's like I don't know. I don't think like that. You know what I mean? Like my mind doesn't work that way. I feel like karma does its work on its own. You know what I mean? Like those people hopefully will get what rightfully is deserved to them when the time is exactly perfect for it. You know what I mean? And
everybody gets their comeuppance, man.
Definitely.
Always,
but I think everybody just needs to come off the high horses, and everybody just needs to you know what I'm saying? If you got an opinion, be polite. You know what I mean? Just be polite. I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? Be polite.
As the saying goes, if you don't like what you read, scroll by.
Yeah, just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, why stop and you know what I'm saying, to interject some negativity? It's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's enough positivity in the world in general. It's like all you see on the news is negative. Everything's negative. It's like you don't ever see anything on the news positive. You don't. It's all negative.
be honest with you, I completely scrap watching the news these days.
Well, I refuse to pay for a TV license, so you know I've got no TV channels installed on my TV because it's
But you've got enough apps out there that you can watch TV for pennies on the dollar. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Hulu, you got Netflix, you got Amazon, Google Play, all that.
Netflix,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's like that's what you do. And if not, you can just illegally download it. You know, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
Let's not lie. Come on, who hasn't got Cody? You know, or who hasn't watched something like a stream of a boxing match? You should have paid more. Everyone's
He'll be plugging DVDs next.
Yeah.
Don't get caught. I was using a couple of those apps because I travel a lot, you know, so like I would go onto some of those sites, you know what I mean, and watch just watch it, not even download it.
We're
just
not
watch
discussing
it.
them sites now. We're not discussing them sites.
No. But you know what I'm saying. But I got a letter from my carrier because I was using my cell phone. So I guess they track those IP addresses that people use when they're watching those, right? So I got 2 letters, and it said literally I was on my second strike. If I did it again, it got notified that not even downloaded, that if I went on there and I streamed an illegal video, that there was going to be criminal charges, fines, all that kind of stuff. So I don't use those sites anymore.
You just get a polite letter in the UK saying that they'd really like you not to do it. Could you please
it was far from polite. Let me tell you, it was like, I don't even know. I think it said like 5 years imprisonment, and like some insane dollar amount that you were going to have to pay if it happened again. And I'm like,
I want to know.
I've heard stories where people get in trouble for that over here.
Yeah, what was you watching?
I want to know what you were watching, man.
It was just like a new release. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember. It could have been like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't even know. But it was something. It was probably like one of the newer, you know, and it was just a newer flick that I didn't feel like going to the movies, or I wasn't able to, you know, because I'm never anywhere to be able to do that. But you know, it was just convenient. I driving or whatever, I would cast it to the TV, you know, and I got the letter and I was like, ooh. And then another one showed up like 2 days after, and I was like, nah, not doing that no more. I deleted all that shit.
Right then, chaps, I think we better wrap it up there with an extended episode tonight. Thank you very much, Ariel, for coming on. Definitely
it was nice to get that.
Perhaps next time we'll go into more detail about the after show side of expos. Maybe we'll have to see.
Honestly, you know what I'm saying? You guys should call on some of these show promoters and give them the riot act and let them explain.
That's a good idea.
I've spent a lot of money over the years on a lot of these shows, and you know what I'm saying? Like they're just like, here, give me your money. Like they're sitting around counting up all this cash while all these other people, all these nice people that, you know what I'm saying, are going to these conventions to try to interact with fans and consumers, and you know what I mean? And you don't even get that opportunity because nobody shows up.
$1,000.
You mean we could have charged him?
And then the people that come in, they get charged to come in, but then they're not allowed to get any free shit. So where do you get what I'm saying? Like, it seems to me like.
Well, that's the government. That's not a choice as an industry in domestic, you know, in the U.S. or whatever. But it's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was a governmental choice to try to, and it worked exactly the way that they wanted to, because now if you can't give away free stuff, people don't come to the shows anymore. You know what I mean? But then, you know, so now they don't get free stuff and they still got to pay to park. They got to pay for admission. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So it's like people are sitting back and they're going, well, I'll just order it online, and hell, if I get it for 20% cheaper because it's at a show, I'm going to save that money, not having to go to a convention. You know what I mean? And it sucks. That's where everybody kind of gets a chance to get together, talk, you know what I'm saying, mingle, and everybody kind of gets a chance to meet each other, because it's like we're like a family. And you know what I'm saying? We're all a family. It's like, regardless if you're whatever brand or such and such brand. To me, you're still in it together. I still consider, we're a unit, like it or not. If you don't like me,
definitely,
I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? You're still here. Everybody's still here. So it's like, why, you know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Everybody just can't get along. But, that's.
Everybody have a big cuddle. That's what we need to do.
Group hug.
Yeah.
Two words for the week.
Family.
I'm not opposed to them putting up a boxing ring in any one of these arenas. I'm then donating the proceeds to advocacy or, American Cancer Society or, one of these funds or whatever. I would be more than happy to do it. Anybody, this is a call out. I don't even care. I think it would be great. You know what I mean? Like,
let's do it. And dressed up in them big sumo suits or something. You know what I mean?
make it entertaining. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so-and-so brand against so-and-so brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nothing else, it's entertainment. People like drama, right? You know what I mean? Like, so
I like that idea, man.
I'm down. I'm down. I'll take Pat in the ring.
Wheelchair box someone. Like, if anybody's up for it, you tie the wheelchair to the other one, facing each other, and you just sit there and punch it out.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, some of my best friends growing up, you know what I'm saying, were kids that I got into fights with in middle school or high school and stuff like that, and you end up being good friends. So I mean, if nothing else, it's a bonding experience. So you know what I mean? It's a bonding experience. I'm so down for it.
Old school rules.
Yeah.
Right, let's draw a line under it there. Ariel, we'll have you back on again, buddy. Definitely. It's been a blast.
Yeah,
Hang on. Two words for the week. 2 words for the week. Educate, advocate.
Yeah.
Those are important. Let's all be friends. I want to interject. Let's all be friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, be friendly. Love one another. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Look around to Ariel's and watch a flick.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Get Chinese takeaway in.
No, that'd be dirty.
Yeah, man.
Right. That's it. We're done. I'm going to end it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you, panel, Andy, Zippy, and of course Ariel again for appearing. We'll have you on again, Ariel, no doubt. That's it, folks. See you in 2 weeks for the next episode. Bye for now, everybody. Where's the end broadcast? There it is.